Olá, bem-vindos de volta aqui ao nosso curso. Parabéns para você que chegou até aqui, né? Que se você está aqui é porque já andou um bom caminho aí, certo? Então, parabéns para você que já andou o básico e tá com a gente aqui também agora no intermediário, né? Bom, hoje a gente vai falar então sobre esse assunto, né? Que é que vai trazer assuntos, assim, é um assunto que nem todo mundo entende muito, né? Então é por isso que eu gosto de falar bastante sobre ele, né? Porém, apesar de as pessoas muita gente não curtir muito, né, esse assunto, é um assunto que eu chamo ele de coringa, né? Por que que ele é o coringa? Porque se você não souber algumas regrinhas gramaticais do inglês, você sabendo os modal verbs, você se vira super bem, né? Então, eu acho que saber lidar com os modal verbs é das coisas mais importantes que tem aí para quem quer aprender o inglês, tá? É, lembrando, como a gente está agora no nível intermediário, né? Eu vou tentar falar cada vez mais inglês, tá? Então, eu vou começar a falar inglês aqui, tá bom? Mas a legenda vai estar em português, tá? Se você tiver dúvida, você pode olhar na legenda, certo? So let's start speaking English, okay? So, this is a very important topic, okay? Why? Let me show you something. So, modal verbs are very special, okay? It's a kind of verb. They are a type of auxiliary verb, okay? They help the main verbs in a sentence. So that's why they are very important. So the modal verbs, they can express ideas like ability, permission, possibility, obligation, and advice, okay? So, what else I have to tell you? They behave differently from the other verbs, okay? And as I told you in the beginning of the class, they can help you to make sentences that you don't remember the grammar, okay? So that's why they are important, okay? So I ask you to pay attention very carefully to this class, okay? Because this is going to help you a lot, right? So let's go. What do modal verbs differ from the other verbs? Okay, it doesn't need to be modified accordingly to the verb tense. Okay, for example, she can drive. You don't say she can't drive. This doesn't. This is not possible. Okay, so this is not a change. If you think about the subject, you don't change. For example, he can study and not he can studies. Okay, so if you think of the previous classes, when we were talking about the present, you usually had to change this part, right? But here, this is not. You don't need to do this. Okay, this is a modal verb. This is different from the other verbs. Okay, so this is very important for you to differ the modal verbs from the other ones. Okay, so what else? So let's start talking about the verbs. Okay, for negative and questions, we don't use do, does, or did. Okay, we don't use it. Remember in the previous classes that I told you that do, does, and did, we use it to have auxiliary verbs. Remember this? So in this case, it's not necessary, okay, in modal verbs. So you don't say I don't can travel. You can't say that. Okay? How do you say I can't travel? Okay, so you don't use the auxiliary. Okay? Can you swim? This is the right one. You can't say, do you can swim? Not possible. Okay? So you don't use auxiliary verbs. Okay? When we are talking about modal verbs. Okay, so it's very important to remember these rules because the next parts are like you need to be in touch with the examples to understand. But if you remember these rules, this one and the previous one, this one too, you can use any modal verb. Okay? So let's talk about the first modal verb. Okay, the first one, and this is, in my opinion, this is the most common one. Okay, the verb can. You use it for possibilities and ask something. Okay, so can you do me a favor? Possibility. I can go there by car. So you use it for request and possibility. Okay. There are other verbs that are more polite that would show you more gentleness. Okay. To express the same idea. So let's see what are they. Them. Sorry. Could. Okay. Could you go there with me? Would you do me a favor? Okay, so this is you would be more polite if you use could than can. Okay, can. So remember, can, you can use it, but this is a little informal, right? Could, it's more formal, it's more polite. Okay, even more kind could be may. Okay, so may, it's more formal than could, right? So at the restaurant, may I see the menu, please? So this is an example. At class, may I go to the bathroom? Okay, so both of them are very polite. So it's good to use may when you want to be polite. Okay, good. You may um, you may make notes, okay, if you have it, your notebook and anything, okay? It's important to make notes if you have um, anything that you think it's important to remember later, okay? Next one, must. Must we use for obligation, okay? You must fasten your seatbelt. What's this? When you are inside the car, you need to use the seatbelt. Okay, you need to put this in your seatbelt for security. Okay, so you must fasten your seatbelt. So this is an obligation. You can't go. You can't ride a car without the seatbelt. Okay, so this is must. It's an obligation, right? Have to. Have to. This is not so formal, but this is also an obligation. Okay. So you have to drink water. Yes, you have to drink water. Okay. the doctor, always we need to drink water. Sometimes we don't, but we should. Okay? This is an obligation, but it's not so formal, right? For possibility, what can we do? We can use different verbs depending on your intention. Okay? Must. She must be tired. It's very likely that she is very tired. Okay? Could and may. She could be tired. Maybe she's tired. So if you use must, it's more possible to happen than if you use could or may. Okay? So this must is very intense. Okay? And could may, this is not so maybe it will happen. Okay? Good. Might. You use might when you are not certain of something. Okay? So it might be a good idea. It might be a good idea. So I'm not certain. It might be a good idea. Okay? She might like it. Maybe she likes it, but I'm not sure, really. Okay? So when you use might, you're not certain of this. Might is the same as maybe. Okay? So for example, if today is very cloudy, it's a cloudy day, I would say it might rain. It might rain, right? Because I can see the sky. Maybe it will rain, but I'm not sure. Okay, good. So next modal verb is should. Okay, should you use it when you want to give advice or suggestion? Okay, you should call her. You should call her. Should I stay or should I go? Okay, what's this? Can you remember where is it from? This phrase here. I don't know if you have watched the series Stranger Things. They have a song. It's a song from the 80s, actually. And that's the name of the song. Okay, this is a very good one, right? So should, that's it. He is asking for a suggestion. Should I? Should I stay or should I go? What do you think? What's your opinion about it? Okay? Okay, next modal verb is would. It's imaginary situation. Okay? I would do that. Maybe if something, for example, if I lived in São Paulo, I would go to Ibirapuera every day, to Ibirapuera Park every day. That's it. Okay. I'm imagining something. Okay. This is not happening now, but I'm imagining this. Okay. I would do that. I would buy her a gift. Okay. So for example, if my friend lives in another country and comes to Brazil to visit friends, I would buy my friend a gift. Okay. I would. If she came to Brazil, I would give her a gift. Okay. I would is the same as I'd. Okay, so you can use it as a contraction. Okay, I'd like to go. Okay, very good. Next one. Still talking about would. Okay, so you can use would to offer something or make invitations. Okay, would you like some water? Okay, for example, if it's a very hot day and you ask someone, would you like some water? Okay. Would you go to the movies with me tonight? It's like I'm inviting you to go to the movies. Okay. So would you? So you are offering something or you are making an invitation. Okay, so it depends on what's happening. You may use would for invitations or offering something. Okay, so here are the types of modal verbs, some of them, right? This is a, how can I say, this is a glossary. Okay, you can see the most important modal verbs here. Okay, so can and could you use for ability. Can, could, and may you can use for permission. Can, could, may you can use for requests also. For should, you can ask for advice if you use should. Must and have to, obligation. Okay. And might, could, may, and can, you can use for possibility. Okay. So, so as I told you, the most important part here is to remember the beginning of the class. Okay. The rules. What are modal verbs different from the other verbs? What do you do to use them? What do you have to do to use them? Okay. And if you learn, that's awesome because you don't have to remember the verb tense, or you don't have to use auxiliary verb. So this is very useful, right? So you should learn modal verbs. I'm giving you an advice. You should learn modal verbs. Okay. So that's it. Okay. It's attached to this class will be some exercises. Okay. So you do the exercises and look for the answers too. Okay. The exercises will be somewhere next to this video, very close to this video. Okay. So that's it. Thank you very much. See you next class.